Hey, everybody. My name is Danielle, and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So, welcome or welcome back. Today, I'm going to chat about Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas new original movie, The Most Colorful Time of the Year. The Most Colorful Time of the Year. It premiered on Friday, December 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Hallmark Channel, and it stars Katrina Bowden and Christopher Russell. And the synopsis is as follows. Ryan is an elementary school teacher who learns that he's colorblind. Michelle, an optometrist and mother of one of his students, helps bring color into his life in time for the holidays. The most colorful time of the year. All right, so we have Ryan. He's a science teacher at Brighton Elementary. He meets Michelle, an optometrist whose daughter, Bailey, is in his class. She's also a widow, and her husband passed a few years back. Anyway, while helping out in the school gymnasium, she's giving eye exams. Michelle notices something different about Ryan. He lacks an interest in Christmas, and later they really discover it's more of a lack of interest in color. This surprises Michelle considering it's the holiday season. When Michelle is finished examining the kids, she prompts Mr. Tanner, or Ryan, right, to participate in an eye exam. He's first reluctant. He cuts it short, leaving her to suspect that he may be colorblind. Michelle's suspicions are confirmed when she tricks Ryan. She's asking him for different colors of candy while decorating that gingerbread house. And he picks up the right colors. He's really guessing. And then when she asks for, I think, blue and yellow, he gives her pink and purple or something like that. But anyway, it kind of confirms that, yes, he is colorblind. Of course, he's guarded about this, but ultimately he gives himself away. And just to fast forward, Michelle gains access to the specialty glasses for Ryan, but at first he refuses to wear them, and then the story develops from there. Okay, so I thought that the performances were okay. I thought the timing of the lines were a little off to me, but I overlooked a lot of that only because I thought the story was really cute. I like the story. It's certainly different for Hallmark, right? My observations. Let's start with when we meet Ryan, Mr. Tanner, to the students, right? We see into his closet where his wardrobe is just dominated with grays, right? Gray suits, gray shirts. There's no color. I also couldn't help but notice the placement of that basketball on the top of his refrigerator. I thought it was a little odd. But basketball plays a role into the story, so maybe that's how they was introducing it to us. I don't know, but I've never known anyone to put a basketball on the top of their refrigerator. But whatever. Um, One thing I thought about was that I don't remember having free eye exams at school. Have any of you ever had that? I think it's a great community service. I think it's a good thing. It would certainly be convenient, right, to have that done during school hours and free of charge. But that's how the story kicks off, right? So we see Michelle giving these free eye exams to the students of the school. Yeah, that's how we kick off the story. Okay, so let me transition into Mark. He's the most recent ex-boyfriend who was described by Michelle's sister Heidi. She described him as obnoxious. To me, Mark kind of creeped me out. He felt a little stalkerish. He kept popping up. And when he popped up at her house because he was quote unquote in town, his character just gave me this can quickly turn into a Lifetime murder movie, you know. She's inviting him in and like, yeah, sure, can I come in? She's like, yeah, sure, come on in. I'm like, no, girl. Yeah, Mark was kind of creepy to me. I didn't like Mark, and I think that was intentional, right, by the writers. Mark wasn't likable. Bailey, that was Michelle's daughter. She was a precocious child, wasn't she? She had very keen observations. She knew that the moms liked Mr. Tanner being or greeting people in front of the school. And it wasn't because he was a great teacher, it was because he was handsome, right? That's what she said. The story when she noticed one of her favorite stories, or she knew that her father loved her mother, is because that time she, or I think it was, yeah, during their last Christmas of the father being alive, the daughter said, "I just noticed that you were shivering, mommy, and daddy put his jacket around you." You know, keen observations for a young child, right? She also noticed that Mr. Tanner, the teacher, and her mom was a good match, right? She was saying, "When will you guys go on another date?" Um, and that was her Christmas wish in the end, right? And let's not forget about her presentation on the scientific explanation of how we see color. Bailey was in the fourth grade, I believe, right? But a precocious child. Let's talk about Debbie. She was the blind date, and we've seen her before on Hallmark. I thought she was a trip. Right off the bat, she told him she wants children. She's like something about like she wants children. She's waiting to meet. She wants to meet the right person. She was happy she was on the date because she wants children. I'm like, oh my gosh, isn't that breaking every rule on a first date? It just was weird. I really didn't understand what that part of the story gave to the overarching plot, other than maybe just to show that he was a bachelor. I don't know, but I think we could have done without that. Okay. I did think Michelle overstepped, especially as a professional, by entering him into that clinical trial for the color correction lenses. I thought this was a stretch too. I know it's Hallmark, I know it's the story, but first I thought it was an overstep, right? As a doctor. The second thing was I thought it was a stretch. And these were one of those times we had to make a leap, right? Just to follow the story or to continue with the story. Because when filling out information for a clinical trial, did she have all his personal medical information? I forget the timing of if it was before or after they began to learn about one another. You know, when he was telling his story about when he was a child and how his parents lived from paycheck to paycheck. So I forget the timing. Was that before she filled out that trial? Put him in that trial, or after? Nevertheless, I thought it was an overstep, but it worked out. When Ryan puts on the glasses and opens his eyes for the first time, the world appears in Technicolor, right? I thought that was beautiful. I really like that scene of him in the hallway in the school. I thought that was pretty cool. His reaction is so significant and it's emotional. It's like he can't believe how beautiful everything is. So that was great. And at that point of the movie, we see the development of Michelle and Ryan's romance, right? She takes it upon herself to introduce him to the world of color, setting off on a series of adventures, right? Well, let me take you here. Close your eyes. Let me take you there. So he can just experience the color all around. And I loved his reaction. Ryan looked good in glasses. Yeah, very distinguished. He was already a nice looking guy before, but afterwards, he still nice looking. um, when he asked about the why behind Christmas colors, meaning why is Christmas red and green, Michelle was giving him an explanation. And when she mentioned the mistletoe, he said, "A parasitic plant? What does that have to do with Christmas?" It was such a cheesy line, but it made me chuckle. What was a great line in the movie, I thought, was when Ryan said, wait, was it Ryan? Let me think. I think it was Ryan. Yeah, I think it was Ryan. Anyway, the line was, "The universe will help find a connection." And I think that's so true. So I like that line. This was a different kind of story, and I thought it was cute. I liked it. I enjoyed all of the Christmas decorations. And I don't know if it was me, but There were an exorbitant amount of Christmas trees in this movie. That's what it seemed like to me, at least. If you saw the movie, am I wrong about this? There were a lot of Christmas trees. I don't just a lot to me. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily add this movie to my favorites list. I did have difficulty with the believability factor. I've seen better performances, but if you haven't seen the movie, I wouldn't discourage you from watching it. It's a cute story, you know. All right, the most colorful time of the year. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? You'll have to let me know your thoughts in a comment below. And that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. So thank you in advance. My name is Danielle, and you're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.